As a lot of you know, no doubt, I've been having a bag sale recently, and I actually did a Q&A not long ago, and one question that came in from more than one of you is, why are you selling your bags? What's going on? And sometimes as a creator, let me know if you're watching as a creator, in the comments or however, let me know how you feel, but it can get quite tedious on social media, because if you buy something, you're materialistic. If you sell it, it's because you're going broke. People look at it from one extreme to the other, but there is a very simple reason why I'm selling at the moment, and I'm sad to say that the amount that I'm selling hasn't made much of a dent on what I've got, and we're going to go through all of it. So I want to talk to you about why I'm selling things off, and also share with you some of the things I sold that I kind of regret selling and wish I didn't. Now, the first one is a bag that some of you who have been with me for a while, you might remember this. How many of you remember this bag? This was the Mermaid Chanel boy bag that had the iridescent purple that almost was green in some lights. The hardware on it was petrol, a kind of oil tone hardware, absolutely beautiful bag. Came out in 2016 from memory. And the story went with it, when I bought it, to be fair, I never intended on using it. I didn't buy it for me. I bought it as an investment piece. You do you, and I know some of you will watch going, oh my god, that's not a reason to buy a bag, and I completely get that, but for me, some bags, I look at them and they are like art. So that Chanel bag ended up living in Australia in the end, and there was such a sweet story behind it. So I bought the bag, and after showing it on video, very quickly I was contacted by a young man in Australia who was buying it for his wife. She was a viewer of the channel. She didn't know that he was buying it for her, and it was a birthday present. And the sentiment behind what he wanted to do was so sweet that although I thought I don't want to sell it right now, I never planned on keeping it anyway. So I sold it, and I do, and I don't regret it. I miss seeing the bag, but I know that realistically I never would have used it. Now to come on to the new bag, which is a great, I feel like in a way I sort of prefer this, because I'd never really liked the shape of the boy bag, and that chain handle that wraps around your hair and pulls your hair out is quite annoying. So there is a new brand to me called Lyan the Label. Leanne is a brand that's founded, I think I can say her name, by Emily. Emily is actually a subscriber, and I would absolutely love it if you would please check out her brand, and I know she would massively appreciate it as well. If I can ever help out subscriber brands, I'm always so up for doing so. This is a young luxury Australian brand. Emily has Chinese heritage, and Leanne actually means lotus flower in Mandarin. The kind of connotations and the meaning behind the name has got some beautiful roots behind it. Let me just crack on and show you the bag, and I will show you the bag as I talk to you about the brand. This is it. Isn't it magnificent? It's purple, but it's also green. Look, can you see the green there? It is absolutely beautiful, and it looks, let me hold it here, and I'll put the Chanel picture in here. It's basically exactly the same finish. I cannot tell you, it is exactly the same. Absolutely beautiful. And look, it's got two compartments within inside. To open the bag, you push this down from memory. Yep, push it down. This lifts up. Look at that lining. This is leather. If you like to buy sustainable, if you're sort of like sick of luxury prices but you want luxury quality, then I genuinely think Emily's brand is perfect. This bag works out at £196. That could fluctuate depending on the currency. You can buy it worldwide. She shipped it to me from Australia, and it turned up within the week. It turned up in London within the week. So it got here really quite quickly. It also comes with two handles. So you can either carry this as like a little clutch, or it comes with a top handle, which could also be used over your shoulder. I'm going to model the bag here and show you it, and show you some cutaway shots. But yes, it comes with two straps. So the first one is this, and it has this bag has silver hardware. It also comes with a longer crossbody chain that has got the purple mermaid green, kind of purpley greeny leather running through the chain there. Emily's mission with this brand, she wants to create a distinctive and affordable range of handbags Each piece is made in small batches so as to reduce waste. All of the pieces are leather. She currently has 3 handbags in her lineup. All of the handbags are this style, but different colours. So she has a nude colour, it's just called nude, and also a pearl, like a beautiful pearlescent that catches the light in the same way this does, as well as this, which is Mermaid, which is the purpley sort of emerald green. So I wanted to share that with you. She has not paid me to talk about this, just to kind of make that clear. She just reached out, but all the way back in January, and I said to her I would be very happy to showcase you and show the bag. She has given me this, just to kind of let you know and just be clear about that, but genuinely beautiful brand. Okay, so a few more bags I regret selling, and with a story time before I tell you about why I'm selling what I'm selling and what I'm selling. The next one is the Louis Vuitton Bria bag. Now the story behind this, I actually bought this bag in, I think it was 2012 or 2011. And I bought it because I didn't really have a bag collection at the time, but I had an interest in luxury. And I remember it was the end of the year, so it was like winter, and I had my review coming up at work. And I never just go to a review, me, myself, and I always take a presentation. So anyway, I walk into this review and I've got my presentation on my laptop, and I plug my laptop into the big screen on the wall. And in my presentation, I always like with reviews to put in work samples of visual if possible, so it's not just words. I like to put in work samples of targets that I've hit over the years, of projects I've worked on to deliver, of whatever, you know, profit, loss, anything great that I can say that I've been a part of. I like to share it, and I like to do this month on month. And what I tend to do when I've worked for other people is I keep a diary, and every month, if there was a project that went really well, I'll just make a quick note of it. Then at the end of the year, I can remember what I did in January the year before, if you see what I mean. So anyway, I did this presentation, and after the presentation, a couple of days later, I was contacted on email by one of the bosses, and they were like, wow, no one has ever done a presentation for their review before. That really went above and beyond. Anyway, they gave me a bonus. This bonus was enough. Oh my God, I'll never forget it. When they told me how much they were giving me, I just didn't even know what to do. They gave me enough that I couldn't just buy one designer bag, I could buy 2. And that's not what I was going to do with it, to be fair. And I kind of like ran home to David and was like, oh my God, like look at this bonus. And he said to me, he was like, you're so into designer handbags, you don't really have any. I don't think I did. I think at the time, the only bag I had was the Dior Gaucho bag that David had bought me, and I really wanted to add to that. And he said, it's your money, you've worked for it, do what you want with it. If you want to go down Harrods and buy a bag or buy a couple of bits and pieces, go for it. So anyway, I went to Harrods with him, and I bought the Louis Vuitton Bria at the Louis Vuitton counter in Harrods, and I will never forget it. I remember this bag, I remember it came in a few different colours. I got it in the Vernis, and I got it in like a champagne-y tone. And then a couple of weeks later, I was back in Harrods again, and I wanted to have a look in Chanel, but Chanel didn't have that much. We went to the Chanel on the Fulham Road, which is like a short taxi ride away from Harrods. That particular boutique's moved now. It's now on Walton Street, I think it is, but it used to be on the corner on Fulham Road. So we go in there, and it was the worst experience, but I bought a bag. And you might be thinking, why did you buy a bag? Okay, I get in there, the atmosphere, I don't remember there really being any other customers in there. That store was always quite quiet in my experience whenever I went in there, but the atmosphere was so unfriendly. And I think because I was young, I don't think they thought, and I wasn't carrying a designer bag with me from memory. I don't think they thought I was a sure thing. I don't think they thought that I was actually going to pull through and buy anything. Now, I went in there looking for the Chanel Classic Flap. Didn't know what that bag was called. I didn't know it was called the Chanel Classic Flap. And a lady like begrudgingly came to help me and made me feel so awkward. And I tried to explain to her what the Classic Flap looked like, and she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And there was this tote bag on display, which I did like, I just didn't want it as much as the classic flap. Anyway, I asked her to look at it. She brought it over. It's this bag. I liked it, but not as much. Anyway, I ended up buying it. Sort of like backed into a corner a little bit and felt like I needed to prove myself. Now I'm a different person. I would have turned around and walked straight back out at the attitude that I was getting that day, but back then I didn't. Anyway, I bought this bag and I ended up selling it, and in recent years, and when I say recent years, I only mean the last 2 years actually, I have felt that it's more my taste now, and I've reached for it a couple of times, and obviously I don't own it anymore, and I sold it a good 10 years ago. So that's another one I missed that I bought with my bonus. And those two bags for me, they actually were bought by the same person, and I remember your name, I won't say it. You might have sold them on at this point, but I remember you bought both of them at the same time, and I do think about those bags and hope they're having a nice life somewhere. So why am I selling bags? I've got some storage where I keep my bags, and the bags used to be beautifully arranged, all next to each other, but not touching. So there was no dye transfer, leather couldn't get indented, or like dented, you know what I mean, from the bag next to it. What's ended up happening is I've got so many that not only are they all stacked up like this, touching now, but there's bags on top, pushing down, and that the bags are stacked up back as well. So the bags are deep into the shelf. I can't see what's at the back basically, because everything at the front's like falling off the shelf. And if you could see the situation, you'd go, right, I get why you're selling some stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. And really what I wanted to do is anything that I wasn't using, I might well get to a point in the future where I think, oh, I wish I didn't sell that. I kind of have an outfit that I'd love to wear that bag with. But I need to run that risk. And right now, I have got lots of, tend to be small bags that don't fit my stuff anymore. Bags that when I bought them either were always too small and I bought them on a whim, again something I don't do anymore. Now I'm a lot more, I don't just rush in and buy something anymore. I give it the 4-week rule, where I think about it for 4 weeks, most of the time more than 4 weeks actually. For the most part, you might find that within 4 weeks you actually move on to something else and you don't want that item anymore and you're glad you didn't buy it. It's just impulsivity, isn't it? But I've decided anything I'm not using, anything I've never used, anything I'm not reaching for, nothing fits on that shelf anymore. In my dressing room, I now have bags on the floor, stacked up separately, neatly on the floor, not touching, but they don't fit on that shelf anymore. And that is why I'm selling stuff. I really hope that this has just been interesting, if anything. I really hope that. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.